This is SleepyNirvana. Tonight we're sitting beside a river. Picture moving water at dusk, not rushing, going somewhere, but with no urgency to arrive. You didn't choose to hear it. The sound appeared in your awareness. Silence gave way to water. Thoughts arrive the same way. They show up uninvited. A worry about tomorrow. A fragment of a song you heard years ago. They never asked permission. You've been watching a river your whole life. A river made of your own thinking. It's been flowing since before you can remember. And it will keep flowing long after you've stopped paying attention. Tonight, we sit together on the bank. We observe what has always been flowing. The water does what water does. Just resting here. If your mind is busy right now, if thoughts are rushing past like water over rocks, let them rush. A busy mind is still a mind. You haven't come here to fix anything. You've come here to rest beside what moves through you. Just to keep it company. We begin where rivers begin, with the space that holds the water. Before any thought arises, awareness is already here. You can't point to it. It's the ground beneath thinking. Imagine a riverbed before the water comes, early morning, the stones still cool from night. The earth cracked and dry, holding the shape of water that hasn't arrived yet. Before the snow melts in the mountains, before the rain falls upstream, the bed is just there, waiting. Curved stone and soft earth ready to receive. The capacity for thought exists before thought takes form, the space in which thinking can happen. You can't see it when it's covered with water, but it's there, holding the current and the stillness both. There's an old Zen teaching that puts it this way. Mind is like a mirror. Thoughts appear in it, sometimes overwhelming, and then they're gone. The mirror remains as it was. The mirror never becomes what it reflects, neither do you. If you are the water, you're rushing, turbulent, at the mercy of whatever current takes you. But if you are the riverbed, the water flows through. You remain. The riverbed offers no opinion about what passes over it. Muddy water, clear water. It allows passage. Before a thought forms, there is a gap, a sliver of openness we tend to miss because we're already chasing what comes next. We focus so hard on the thoughts themselves that we miss the space they arise from. We watch the movie so closely, we forget we're sitting in a theater. But that gap is there, and you are that gap. Ancient teachers noticed a witness within. They weren't constructing belief systems. They were paying close attention to what was already present. When you observe your own experience, there seems to be something that watches. Something that watches without being disturbed by what it watches. You felt this. Remember a time when you were caught in anger or grief. Even in the thick of that emotion, some part of you was aware. You knew you were upset, even as the upset moved through you. That part stays steady when everything else shifts. another way to describe it. Awareness is like the sky, and thoughts are like clouds passing through. Some clouds are light and wispy, others are dark and heavy, bringing storms that seem endless. But the sky has never been harmed by a storm. The sky is space, and space cannot be wounded. You've witnessed millions of thoughts in your lifetime, joyful ones and painful ones, thoughts about breakfast, thoughts you're proud of, and thoughts that embarrass you. Through all of it, you're still here. The witness remains. Lao Tzu asked a question a long time ago. Can you remain still until the mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain still? He says nothing about making the mud settle. He doesn't mention forcing clarity. Mud settles on its own. Water clears by itself. You just have to stop stirring. Stillness lives underneath all that stirring. You will forget that you're the riverbed. You get absorbed in the content of thoughts. What they're telling you, how urgent they seem, and you lose sight of the one who watches. You get lost in a movie. The story grabs you, the characters feel real. For a while you forget you're sitting in a seat, eating popcorn, watching light on a screen. And that forgetting? It's what minds do. Movies are designed to absorb you. So are thoughts. Buddhist teachers call this identification. What passes through you gets confused with what you are. A thought appears and becomes you, becomes truth, solid, lasting. But thoughts are water. They feel solid when you're caught inside them. Try to grab one. Hold it still. Gone. Every time you remember, you're aware. You return to the riverbed. This remembering can happen 10,000 times. Each return is whole. Each time you notice awareness, you're home. The forgetting before that moment has no weight. Being the space rather than the movement. A bowl holds anything you pour into it because nothing fills it yet. A room can become whatever you need. This is capacity. The Taoists called this Wu, fertile emptiness, where everything emerges from. Your awareness tonight holds these words, your breathing, the thoughts arising now, the sensations moving through your body. It has always held everything this way. Space-holding objects. You don't have to become the container. You are the container. There's a line in the Tao Te Ching. The usefulness of a pot comes from its emptiness. A pot already full can't receive anything. An empty pot can hold water, rice, flowers. Your awareness is like that pot. Tonight, let it be empty. Notice that it's there, this riverbed beneath the current of your days. We've felt the riverbed beneath us. Above it, water flows. Thoughts show up uninvited and leave when they're ready. Thoughts arise the way weather arises. You didn't order rain. Sunshine arrived on its own schedule. Your last thought appeared without your choosing it. Something fired in your brain, and where a moment before there was nothing, a thought now existed. Minds work this way. A smell of coffee brings back your grandmother's kitchen. A car horn, and you're thinking about traffic. Sensation and memory weave into each other. Neurons fire without your permission. These are the weather patterns of mind. They follow a logic you never wrote. You're no more in charge of them than you are of the wind outside your window. Judging yourself for your thoughts is like judging yourself for the rain. The clouds gather when they gather. You can stand outside and get wet, or you can watch from the window. But the rain is going to do what rain does. Your thoughts are going to do what thoughts do. They rise and they fade. Some bring comfort, others sting a little. Most are so ordinary you barely notice them at all. You are not your thoughts. The content of your mind is just weather passing through. It came without your invitation, and it will leave the same way. In a single hour, thousands of thoughts pass through your mind. Plans for tomorrow and memories from childhood. Fantasies about things that won't happen. Worries about things that won't happen either. Some arrive clear as mountain streams. You know what they are and where they're going. Others come murky, and you're not even sure what you're thinking, just that you're thinking. Thoughts can rush like rapids, tumbling into each other before you can keep track. Or the same worry gets caught in an eddy, circling back, going nowhere. The river of thoughts contains everything. A worry about your mortality flows past. Then a memory of a joke from last week, a craving for something sweet, a fragment of a song you heard in a grocery store 3 years ago. The mind produces all of it. It never asks permission. Shunryu Suzuki, a Zen master who taught in California, once said, "Leave your front door and your back door open. Let thoughts come and go. Don't serve them tea." You can't stop the flow, but you can stop treating every thought like an honored guest who deserves your full attention and a long conversation. Let them come in the front door. Let them leave through the back. You don't have to offer them refreshments. You know the feeling of a hot thought. Anger flushes through you. Wanting surges. The body grows alert, demands action. Heat rises in the chest. The heart quickens. Your gaze fixes on one thing. Cold thoughts arrive differently. Doubt brings a chill, a pulling back. Energy drops and the world turns gray. The lukewarm ones drift without direction. Boredom, a sense that what you need is missing, though you can't name it. We often think we have to change the temperature before we can rest. We tell ourselves, when this anger calms, I can relax. When I shake off this numbness, I'll feel okay. But the riverbed feels all temperatures the same. Hot water passes over it. Cold water passes over it. The bed doesn't change. It doesn't wait for the water to warm or cool. Let whatever temperature flows through tonight flow. You're not adjusting anything. You're the space where all temperatures pass through. notice the current temperature of your thoughts. You don't need to change it. You're allowed to observe without acting. Heat, cold, something neutral? This is weather. It changes on its own. Rivers have surfaces and depths. The surface catches the light. You can see it rippling and moving. The depths stay dark. You know they're there, but you can't see what's happening down below. Our thinking mind often stays at the surface. The chatter and commentary, the narration that says what we're doing and what we should do next. But beneath the surface thoughts, quieter movements occur. Intuitions stir. Half-formed feelings drift past. Dreams rise from these depths. Sudden insights arrive without explanation. We don't need to dive down. The depths exist. That's enough to know. There's a Zen concept called beginner's mind, approaching experience without assumptions. The beginner doesn't know what lies beneath the surface and rests easy with not knowing. The surface holds as much truth as the depth. The ripples are part of what's flowing, the darkness too. Let the surface ripple. Let the depths remain mysterious. You don't have to understand everything happening in your mind. Let it happen. How do we stand in relationship to this flow? We've built habits around our own thinking. Picture a hand reaching into the river. Fingers close around the current, trying to catch and hold. The water slips through, the hand grabs again. Each time the water escapes. We meet our thoughts this way. We grasp at the pleasant ones, trying to hold them still. Peace comes and we think, stay. A happy memory surfaces and we try to keep it present. We clutch at good ideas, worried they'll slip away before we can use them. But thoughts are water. They cannot be held. The Buddhist teaching on attachment doesn't forbid enjoyment. It says grasping causes suffering. The thought was beautiful as it passed. The grasping is what hurts. You can enjoy the water flowing over your hand, its coolness and movement. But the moment you try to close your fist around it, you've lost it. You've exhausted yourself in the losing. We could let the loveliest thoughts flow on, enjoy them in their passing, without trying to make them stay. Notice if there's any thought you're trying to hold right now, any pleasant state you're hoping will continue. You can let go. The thought will come back if it needs to. The opposite gesture, hands in the water, pushing against the current, trying to make the flow go backward, trying to stop what's coming. Unwanted thoughts, painful memories, anxious pictures of the future, thoughts we don't want to have that we push against with all our strength. And we exhaust ourselves against the flow. The water doesn't care about our pushing. It flows around our hands. It finds another path. It keeps coming, no matter how hard we resist. Resistance makes the thought more persistent, The more we push against a thought, the more it pushes back. The more we try not to think about a thing, the more it occupies our mind. There's a Zen teaching: what you resist persists. The painful thought was passing anyway. Water in the river, flowing through like everything else. But we planted ourselves in the current and said no, and now we're tired. And the thought is still there, swirling around our resistance. Even the darkest thoughts can flow on. We can let them pass the way water passes. Letting them pass doesn't mean agreeing with them or acting on them. It means not exhausting ourselves in resistance. And we try something more ambitious than grasping or pushing. We try to stop the river. We build dams of concentration and willpower. We decide, I will think of nothing, make my mind still, stop this flow. For a moment, it seems to work. The water pools behind our dam, the surface calm. We think, I've done it. I've achieved the quiet. Then the pressure builds, the water rises and the dam breaks. Thoughts flood in stronger than before. The mind, having been suppressed, rebounds with extra force. We're more overwhelmed than we were before we started. The dam always breaks. Rivers are not meant to be stopped. Water will always find its way. There's a Taoist teaching about this. Work with the nature of water, not against it. Water flows downhill, seeks the lowest point, moves around obstacles rather than through them. You can't make water do what water doesn't do, and you can't make mind do what mind doesn't do. Meditation is not the absence of thought. The river keeps flowing. You change your relationship to it. Let go right now of any effort to control what your mind is doing, any dam you've been building, any resistance you've been holding. The river will flow. You might as well let it. There is another way to be with a river. You can sit beside it. No grasping at the water, no pushing it away, no damming it or redirecting it. You watch. The water does what water does. It flows and catches the light. You do what awareness does. You witness. Meditation in every tradition comes back to this: sitting, watching, being present with what's already happening. In Zen, there's a practice called shikantaza. It translates as just sitting, not to achieve anything, not as a means to an end. Sitting, because sitting is enough. You're not waiting for anything. You're not trying to make anything happen. You're sitting. There's nothing to achieve, and nowhere else you need to be. You've been working so hard with your thoughts, sorting through them. Tonight you can rest beside the river. The water flows on without you. Look more closely at the water now, at the kinds of thoughts that flow through, and how each type moves in its own way. Some of the river is fed by the past. Memories surface without invitation. a face from decades ago, a room you once lived in, words you've never forgotten. You didn't call these memories up. They appeared the way water appears from underground springs. A smell triggered them, a sound. And there they were, as real as if they'd happened yesterday. Memory thoughts have their own quality. They feel like truth. They feel like accurate records of what happened. But each time we remember, we alter the memory. Remembering is reconstruction. We fill in gaps. We emphasize certain things and forget others. The memory you have now is not the same memory you had 10 years ago, even if it's a memory of the same event. The river of memory is not a recording. It's a story told again and again, changing with each telling. Buddhist teaching suggests that even memory is empty of fixed essence. We think memory is solid. This happened. I was there. But when you look closely, memory is as fluid as anything else. It changes with each remembering. The ground we thought was stable shifts beneath us. We don't need to trust every memory as fact. We can let it pass as phenomenon. A thought about the past arising now, dissolving as it flows downstream. The memory of pain is not the pain itself. Remembered joy is not joy itself. These are thoughts arising now about what has already gone. Even cherished memories can flow past without diminishing what they represent. The love was real. The memory is a thought about that love. Let a memory surface now. Don't reach for one. Let one find you. Watch it appear. Notice its texture, its feeling, whether it comes sharp or dim, and then let it pass like water. Other currents flow from what hasn't arrived yet. Plans, worries. The mind wanders forward, visiting places that don't exist. Tomorrow pulls at attention. The mind rehearses, hopes, frets. These anticipation thoughts have their own quality. They feel urgent, as though they demand attention right now, even when they concern things that haven't happened. What you call the future exists only as thought. Your plans and worries are imagination, stories about what might be. Planning has its place, but see it for what it is. A story about something, separate from the thing. There's a saying attributed to Lao Tzu, depression lives in the past. Anxiety lives in the future. Peace lives here. It oversimplifies, but it touches something real. We leave the only moment that exists to revisit what's gone or rehearse what hasn't arrived. Let the future wait until morning. Right now, there's only this breath, this river flowing. Worry is a thought. Hope is a thought. Water passing. The persistent current is the mind commenting on experience. A sportscaster who never stops. I like this. I don't like that. This shouldn't happen. The judging mind, narrating everything. It comments on the world and on other people. On itself, it even comments on its own commenting. I shouldn't judge so much. I'm judging myself for judging. This layer of thought runs so constantly, we stop hearing it. Background music that faded into silence years ago. But it's there, adding interpretation to everything. In Zen, there's practice in noticing the difference between experience and commentary about experience. The sound of rain, then, I wish it would stop raining. The sensation of tiredness, then, I shouldn't be so tired. A thought of a mistake, then, I'm such an idiot. Rain falls, we add opinion. The river flows. We add opinion to that too. Tonight the commentary can flow past like any other thought. Let it go by without fighting it. Deeper currents carry thoughts about who we are. I am this kind of person. I always do this. These identity thoughts feel more solid than passing worries or plans. They feel like bedrock. I've always been this way, we tell ourselves. But they're thoughts too, water in the river. The Buddhist teaching of anatta, no self, doesn't say you don't exist. It says the story you tell about who you are is still a story, drifting past with all the others. The river of identity flows and changes, as any river does. Who you were 10 years ago is not who you are tonight. Your ideas about yourself have shifted. The story has been revised. Who you are tonight won't match who you'll be 10 years from now. Change will come again. Even the thought, I is a thought appearing in awareness. It feels like the most fundamental thing, the most basic fact. When you look, it's another appearance in the mirror, another cloud in the sky. If you're not fixed, you're not stuck. If you're not limited to your story, you can write a new one. Or set the pen down. We've watched different waters flow, memory and anticipation, commentary and identity. Now let's turn to the spaces between the currents, the gaps in the flow. Between one thought and the next, there is a gap. It may last only a fraction of a second, but it's there. In that gap, no thought exists. Awareness remains. The space where thoughts appear. We're so focused on the thoughts themselves, on what they're saying, that we miss the spaces between them. Like reading a book and never noticing the white space around the words. The gaps are there. Meditation practice often involves noticing these spaces. We learn to see them. The gap isn't empty. It holds presence and the capacity for experience. It's like the silence between musical notes. Without silence, there would be noise. Notes need space around them. Your thoughts need space too. That space is there. Tonight, you may notice a gap. The gaps don't need to be noticed to exist. Your awareness is present in them, whether you attend to them or not. no thought present, a stillness that remains awake. Zen calls this mushin, or no mind, mind without commentary, without judgment, awareness resting in itself. This is what remains when thinking pauses. Like the surface of a pond when the wind stops. The wind had to stop blowing. You've experienced this many times without recognizing it. Watching a sunset and forgetting yourself. Or listening to music until you disappeared into the sound. In those moments, the thinking mind stepped aside. These moments show you what's available beneath the flow. You stop stirring the water long enough to notice that stillness was already there. Gap seeking can become another mental project. I must find the gap. I can't find the gap. This seeking is more water in the river. You won't find the gap by looking for it, because the looking is itself a thought. The gap cannot be grasped. You can only notice it. Your awareness is present in the gaps. Let the gaps reveal themselves, or let them remain hidden. Resting as the background rather than the foreground. Thoughts are foreground. They grab attention. They seem important. Awareness is the background. It stays quiet beneath all movement. It receives what comes and holds space for it. You can shift attention from foreground to background while the foreground continues. It's like noticing the screen while the movie plays. Tonight, thoughts can be foreground. You are the background. The stillness between thoughts has been here all along. Now consider letting the river flow wherever it wishes. No dams. No direction. Most of us spend enormous energy managing our thoughts. Think positive. Avoid negative. Stay focused. Be present. All that management wears you down. Tonight, you can stop managing. Let thoughts go wherever they go. Random, repetitive, senseless. Let them contradict each other. Embarrassing thoughts, frightening ones, trivial ones, all welcome. Your mental experience needs no curation. It can flow. The river will flow with or without your supervision. It was flowing before you started managing it. Your task tonight is to rest. Tomorrow holds its own work. Let go, right now, of any mental management you're doing, any attempt to direct your thoughts or control them. Let them be. Letting go asks for trust. Trust that you'll be okay without controlling your thoughts. Trust that the mind knows how to care for itself. This trust feels unfamiliar. We're often told that without constant vigilance, our thoughts will lead us astray. But your heart beats without your management. You don't tell it when to contract or how fast to pump. It knows. Your lungs breathe. Your wounds heal. Your body has intelligence that operates without your supervision. So does the mind. Thoughts arise and pass according to their own logic. You allow it. There's a Taoist teaching. Nature doesn't hurry, and yet everything gets accomplished. The seasons change without anyone managing them. The tides rise and fall without supervision. Your mind belongs to nature too. It has rhythms. It finds balance in its own way. A river doesn't need directions. It finds the sea. Water flows downhill, following gravity, going around obstacles. It reaches the ocean. Space and rest are enough. The mind finds its own balance. Watch a child after play. The energy winds down. Sleep comes. Watch your own mind after a busy day. With permission, the thoughts slow. Rest comes. You've been giving your mind tasks all day. Give it freedom now. There is nothing wrong with your mind. Your thoughts are not a problem to be solved. You are whole. You have always been whole. The river of thoughts is natural and human. All minds flow and wander. All minds produce strange and unwanted thoughts. This is what minds do. Rest in the acceptance that you are whole. You have always been. Here are teachings from those who have sat beside this river for thousands of years. 2,500 years ago, a man named Siddhartha Gautama sat beneath a tree and watched his mind. He sat for days, then weeks, unmoving, watching. His discovery was simple. The mind creates suffering through craving and aversion. Craving is wanting what isn't present. If only I had this, then I would be happy. Aversion is rejecting what is present. If only this would go away, then I would be at peace. Both are relationships to thoughts. The reality underneath remains untouched. The thought I want arises in awareness like any other, no more substance than a cloud. The thought I don't want passes like everything else. The Buddha discovered that liberation comes from non-attachment to these thoughts. A thought of craving arises. You don't have to follow it. Aversion appears. You don't have to fight it. Both can pass like water in the river. The Buddha didn't stop thinking. He stopped being controlled by thinking. Thoughts and preferences still arose in him. He held them lightly, let them come and go without grasping. Anyone who sits and watches can find this. Paying attention reveals it. Notice if there's any craving present right now, any wanting. Notice if there's any aversion, any resistance. You don't have to do anything about them. Notice. Let them be. Thoughts in the river. The Tao Te Ching keeps returning to water as teacher. The highest good is like water. Water benefits all things and does not compete. Water nourishes plants and sustains animals. Nothing lives without it. And it doesn't compete. It doesn't fight for position or argue for its rights. It flows. Water takes the shape of its container. In a round bowl, round. In a square box, square. Water flows around obstacles. It finds another way. Water seeks the lowest place. It settles into valleys, pools, in depressions. Your thoughts can be like water, flowing, adapting. The Tao Te Ching also says, "Nothing in the world is softer than water, yet nothing is better at overcoming the hard." Water wears away stone through softness, through persistence. Softness holds its own kind of wisdom. Zen sets aside philosophy and points straight at experience. What is this? The fundamental Zen question. It doesn't want an answer. It wants you to look. When a thought arises, look at it. Don't think about the thought. Look at it. It has no weight, no color. You can't point to where it lives. It appears and disappears like a flash of lightning. Sit with these questions long enough, and what you thought you knew begins to loosen. You were so sure you knew what a thought was. But look closely. Thoughts are smoke, mist that slips through your fingers. And when that knowing loosens, so does something in the body. Huang, a Zen master from the 9th century, said, "The foolish reject what they see, not what they think. The wise reject what they think, not what they see." Seeing is direct. Thinking is interpretation layered on top. The wise don't push away experience. They let thoughts drift past and stay with what's here. In Tibetan Buddhism, the mind is compared to sky. Thoughts are clouds, weather patterns passing through. The sky is never stained by clouds. A storm passes through, and the sky remains as it was. Your awareness is never stained by thoughts. A painful thought passes through, and awareness remains as it was. Anxious thoughts, angry thoughts, none of them leave a mark. The Tibetans call this natural mind, ordinary mind, not something achieved, but recognized. Milarepa, a Tibetan master, put it this way: "The mind is like the sky, clear by nature and empty." The sky doesn't try to be clear, it is. Your mind doesn't have to try to be aware. It is. You are the sky tonight. Weather passes through, and you remain vast, unharmed. Different traditions, the same truth, seen from different angles. Now this wisdom settles into the body, into the breath. Thoughts leave traces in the body. A worried thought tightens the shoulders. An angry thought brings heat to the face. Sadness settles heavy in the limbs. The body and mind aren't separate. One river with two names. When we observe thoughts, we can also feel their echoes in the body. Thinking has a physical dimension. The body is always in the present moment. The mind can time travel, but the body is always here. Attending to bodily sensation anchors us in the present. Notice right now any sensation accompanying your current thoughts. Tension, warmth, heaviness. You don't have to change anything. Notice. The breath is the most intimate river. It flows in. It flows out. A current that has been moving through you since the moment you were born. You don't have to manage it. Right now, without any effort from you, breath is happening. You can observe it. The breath is a bridge between voluntary and involuntary. You can hold your breath if you want, breathe faster or slower. But if you stop paying attention, the breath continues on its own. In many traditions, breath is the anchor of meditation. It's always available, there, flowing, waiting to be noticed. Right now, breath is moving through you. It asks nothing of you. Let the breath be another river to rest beside. Watch it flow in, watch it flow out. No need to change it. Witness. The body holds sensation the way awareness holds thoughts. Sensations arise and pass. Warmth fades to coolness. Pressure gives way to ease. The body is always changing. The body doesn't fight its sensations or argue with them. It experiences them. Be like your body tonight. The weight of your body against whatever surface supports you. The temperature of the air on your skin. All of it is the river flowing. Tension is often frozen thought, a thought that got stuck, a worry that tightened the shoulders and never released, a fear that gripped the belly and stayed. Tonight, as thoughts flow, tension can flow too. You can permit it. You can release now, soften. The body knows how to let go. It needs permission. It's been holding on because it thought it had to. Tonight, you can tell it. It's okay. You can rest. We've brought awareness to body and breath, being present with whatever flows through. Presence is a returning. The mind wanders. Minds do this. You're present, then you're not, then you notice you're not, and you come back. The whole practice lives in that return. Noticing the wandering, coming back to now, and now includes thoughts, sensations, sounds, feelings, all of it here together. The full embrace of experience. There is no failing at this. There's a fantasy of perfect presence, the mind still, no distractions, no wandering. And we suffer in the gap between that image and what's real. Real presence has distraction woven through it. You're here, you drift, you notice, you return. Real presence has a busy mind, thoughts flowing, and you aware of the flow. The masters weren't perfectly present. They accepted their imperfect presence. Suzuki Roshi once said, Each of you is perfect the way you are, and you can use a little improvement. You're already present. You're also always practicing. These don't contradict each other. Certain thoughts are hard to be present with. Painful memories, frightening futures. The instinct is to flee, to distract ourselves. But presence includes the difficult. Being present with a painful thought doesn't mean dwelling on it or analyzing it. It means acknowledging it is here, letting it be here. The thought cannot harm you. A thought has no weight, no teeth. You decide what it means. Your presence is bigger than any thought. Be with whatever is arising now. Presence has a quality of kindness. Soft, warm attention, the way you might watch a sleeping child, or clouds at sunset. You can be kind to yourself here. Awareness without judgment is kind. It doesn't criticize. It doesn't demand things be different. It just receives. Tonight, let your attention be kind. You've carried enough weight. Presence, kindness, now something simpler still, the experience of being with no project at all. So much of life is seeking pleasure, seeking approval, seeking something that feels like enough. Meditation can become another form of seeking, chasing stillness, hunting for insight. Seeking stopped. You haven't found what you were looking for. You've realized you were never lost. The river doesn't seek the sea. It flows, and the sea is where it arrives. You don't need to seek peace. You rest, and peace is what remains. The world tells you to become better. Become more. Self-improvement, personal growth, the endless work of turning yourself into what you're not. Tonight, you don't have to become anything. You're not under construction. Awareness resting, that's all. The river doesn't try to become a better river. It flows. There's nothing special about this moment. Lying down, a voice in your ears, breath moving in and out. This moment is all there is. You are breathing. You are aware. The ordinary miracle, existing, being here. Zen points to this, the extraordinary in the ordinary. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Nothing changes. Everything changes. The river was always flowing. You noticed. Noticing is enough. You don't have to turn it into insight or transformation or anything at all. To be takes no effort. You don't have to try to be. You already are. Let go of trying to understand. Let go of trying to improve. All of it can stop now. Being. like a stone at the bottom of the river, going nowhere, resting where it fell. The water flows over and around, and the stone remains. Tonight, be the stone. We've touched the simplicity of being, the deeper waters where the river meets what is vaster. Every river flows toward the sea. The mountain stream becomes a creek. The creek becomes a brook. The brook becomes a river. The river widens, slows, and meets the ocean. The sea isn't separate from the river. It's what the river becomes. Individual awareness flows toward what is vaster. You might call it consciousness. You might call it presence. The names don't matter. In deep rest, the boundary between self and not self softens. You're not sure where you end and the world begins. If you stood at the mouth of a river, you couldn't draw a line. Here is river. Here is sea. The two merge so slowly you can't say where one ends. The boundary between your thoughts and universal mind isn't as solid as it seems. You think your thoughts are yours, private, separate, but where did they come from? Language you learned from others, ideas you absorbed from culture. Buddhist teaching suggests the self is a convention, not an ultimate truth. It's useful for dealing with the world, but it's not the final word on what you are. There's freedom in this. If you're less separate than you thought, you're also less alone. The river is never alone. It connects to all water, the clouds above and the groundwater below. A single drop of water contains the essence of the entire ocean. Salt and minerals, the memory of countless cycles. The drop has been everywhere, cloud and rain and river and sea and cloud again. A single thought contains the essence of mind itself. Awareness arising from the same source as all awareness. You don't need to experience the whole ocean. You experience one drop. This breath holds everything you need. Tonight, you are the drop, and you are the ocean. The water cycle moves in circles. Ocean becomes cloud, cloud becomes rain, rain feeds the river, river meets the sea again. Nothing disappears, it only changes form. Your thoughts rise from stillness and settle back into stillness. Each moment gives way to the next, like water passing through your hands. Water knows this rhythm without being taught. The river flows toward the sea, which is also where it began. Every direction leads home. Even when you feel lost, you belong to the cycle. From the vastness, we return now to what is close, to this breath. After touching something so large, we come back to the immediate. The ocean fits inside a single drop of dew. The infinite rests in your palm. One breath, one ripple of sensation. You are here in the middle of your own life. The river isn't a thought about flowing, it flows. Rest here. Attention has warmth to it, like sunlight finding water. Feel that warmth now. The body knows what to do with warmth. It doesn't need a name. Paying attention to your own experience is a kind of keeping company with yourself. Sitting here, you join everyone who has ever watched their thoughts drift past like leaves on moving water. Gratitude sometimes appears on its own, for the strangeness of existing, for awareness itself. You can't make gratitude happen. It shows up when you get quiet. Gratitude for breath, for the chance to rest. The river gives itself away. So does this moment. To be human is to have a mind that wanders. To worry, to hope, to remember what was, and imagine what might be. This isn't a design flaw. There is tenderness in accepting our own humanity. We're not meant to be still like stones. We're meant to flow like rivers. Joy moves through, sorrow moves through, clarity and confusion all passing. Tonight, hold your humanity gently. You've been doing what you can with what you had. As we move toward rest, gathering what we've touched tonight, experiences to release. We've explored many ideas tonight. The riverbed and the water, the witness and what it sees, gaps between thoughts and the thoughts themselves. But ideas are thoughts too. Water in the river, same as everything else. You don't need to hold any of them. Let them flow past like everything else. The understanding that matters lives in the body. Experience isn't held. It's lived. Release the teachings. Keep the taste. Tomorrow, you may not remember what was said tonight. The mind forgets. Words dissolve like morning mist. But a residue remains. Something shifted. The body remembers rest even when the mind forgets the words. You don't need to remember. You needed to have been here. Being here was enough. There is wisdom in forgetting. The mind knows what to keep and what to release. It has always known. What you need will surface when you need it. You can rest. Sleep is the final release. Consciousness loosens. The river flows into the dark. This is renewal. You dissolve each night. You arise each morning. The rhythm has always been there. Tonight, let the dissolving be complete. Let everything go. The river knows how to carry you. We come to rest as the river comes to rest in the sea, as the breath comes to rest in silence. Tonight we sat by the river of thoughts. We watched the water flow, memory and anticipation, the voice of commentary, the shape of identity, all of it passing. And beneath all that movement, the riverbed of awareness, unchanging. We touched the gaps, the stillness between. And now we rest. You are the awareness in which thoughts appear, not the thoughts themselves. You don't need to control the river. You are whole, you are enough. The river was never a problem. Thoughts may continue, they may slow, either way. You are at peace. The riverbed holds everything. You are the riverbed. Rest now. In the silence that follows these words, the river continues. And you continue, aware, present, nothing to do, nowhere to arrive. Here, rest. And with that, we wrap up for tonight. Until next time, from SleepyNirvana.